Hi, I'm Mayor Jerry Bennett, City of Palos Hills, and Chairman of the Board of Southwest Central Dispatch. With me this afternoon is Mayor Bob Strauss, City of Palos Heights. He's also a member of the Board of Southwest Central Dispatch, and our Executive Director, Bill Shanley. We want to welcome our viewers to a very unique experience, we think, for you this afternoon. We're going to tour the brand new Southwest Central Dispatch building. Bob, we just completed this, one to start and to finish.
Right. Just it's taken about a year and a half or so to from beginning to end. Right, and it was the architectural firm, and Lombard Company was the construction management, and I think we got it in under budget, which was something that we weren't sure we could do, but we actually were able to do that, and it's quite a facility from where we were.
Yeah, I would like to say that, when we planned this some time ago, this location, we're at 8911 West 95th Street, and if you look at that address, we didn't plan it that way, but it's 8911 West 95th Street. We're right across the street from the Sabre Room, and again, this location we kind of looked at about 3 years ago for a potential microwave tower site to add on to our existing system, but as we got closer to the fact that we were going to build a new building, we ended up choosing this site, and it's right next door to North Palos Fire Protection District. In fact, they owned the property, and we were able to work out a deal, and we purchased the property, and it was quite a deal over that year and a half, and we'll talk about that more later on at the end or after the tour. But with any building, this building for sure, the design of this building is incredible. But with every building, the purpose is function, and Bill Shanley will be your tour director inside to go through this center to see all the intricacies of building a dispatch center, emergency dispatch center, as he goes on through the tour. When we're at the end of the tour, we're going to go back and sit down and talk a little bit about the history of Southwest, the accomplishment of getting this building completed, and again, I think you're really going to enjoy an inside view of what an emergency dispatch center looks like. So why don't we go inside?
Good afternoon. We're in the basement of a 15,000 square foot building, and we have 3 levels here, and we're going to start off in the basement level. If you'll follow with me, I'll go through the rooms and explain what they're for. As you walk down this hallway here, we have a washroom. We also have shower facilities. Shower facilities are here for the employees in the event that we have to shelter in and we can't go. We have the ability for them to shower and take respite. And this would be the electrical room. We have redundant power supplies. If you want, this is the main power panel here. The input. We have a 800 kilowatt generator sitting out back, and we also have provisions should the generator fail and ComEd fail. We have for a roll-up generator right here. So we have 2 power redundancies besides ComEd. This is our fire control system here. The whole building's alarmed for fire control, and the rest are just power panels. And this would be the mechanical room. Okay. And the concept is for redundant resources. There are 2 power feeds, water feeds. It's a water-cooled system and a water-heated system, and everything's in redundant feeds. You have the power for the water system, the heating and cooling system. We have dual boilers. Should one fail, it rolls over automatically. And these are the state-of-the-art air conditioning and heating plants right here. Each one is independent. They alternate in use. They will roll over. If one fails, the other one will pick up where it left off. So we'll constantly have heating and cooling throughout this building. We have 3 pumps to maintain the pressure in the system, a redundancy in pumps, each one capable of working on itself, but we work 2 in conjunction to make sure that the system stays stable. And from here, when we talked about redundant power before, we have a battery backup system, a UPS system. that will sustain this building mission critical equipment for 2.5 hours, which should allow us to get a roll-up generator in when all else fails. You have 2 battery cabinets here, which will sustain for 2.5 hours should we lose all power. And this particular room is maintained as far as cooling and humidity levels go. And this would be one of the heart room right here. This is where all of our telephone equipment is. This is all the telephone equipment on this side here. That's all of our data system over there. This is our console equipment and our radio system. This room was designed for the future in mind, so there's room to expand and add additional racks. Everything is grounded in here. There's a complete halo grounding system in this building that grounds every portion of the building into a halo system so that if it ever takes lightning strike, it'll be dissipated. The building also has a up-to-date fire suppression system. And that provides us with our water and our fire suppression system. For water in the building, we also have a dry agent that covers our electronic room over there. It's an energy-saving building. Everything turns on and turns off by itself except for mission critical, where we leave the lights on. And then we have some storage rooms that are just for storage. So we'll move up to the second floor, actually the ground level floor. We've come up to the first level in the building, which is the general administrative offices and meeting rooms. This is Laura, the heart of the front office here. She handles all incoming traffic. She monitors the door and the screens, the fence out there during the daytime, and takes care of all the administrative paperwork. As we go down this hallway here, the building was designed in a circle pattern. This would be the director's office here. And this is our IT department here. We have Andy, who's our on-staff IT person. Hello. We've had to go to a 5-day-a-week IT person because of the complexity of the system. And so that's where he's at, and that's his engineer. He's doing a training session with the gentleman now, so we have redundancy for IT. As we go down this aisle here, this is a break room for the first floor. And this is Sarah, our training coordinator. We have a full-time training coordinator. You want to stop? This is Sarah White. And she handles all of our in-house training as well as works in a liaison fashion with training agencies outside of here. This will be naturally an office print area. And this is the assistant director, Mary McIlvain. And she's been here since the beginning of Southwest Central. This is IT technology storage, where we keep all of our computer equipment. And we'll end up our tour in our conference room here, but right now we'll be going upstairs to the dispatch floor.
Wait, okay, what is it now?
This is the dispatch room. This is where all the telecommunicators sit and where all the emergency traffic comes from. If you want to walk down this way. think this, if you come back over here, you'll see the center of the. There's 12 dispatch positions here. 4 of them are currently occupied. To the left, we have law enforcement, and to the right, we have fire dispatch positions.
Okay. Let him take a shot of the room from up here.
Okay.
Well, I cut a lot of this out.
You're going to have to,
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
most of it.
And up here we have what's referred to as a bridge, and this is where the shift manager's equipment is set. And from up here, he can look over the whole dispatch center.
I was just going to say, can we get a wide shot of the whole thing?
Okay, just let me go in here. I don't know if I can get over the top.
This is a shift manager's office. That's where they would conduct their business and bring employees in for evaluations. And and the plants you'll see are part of our well building certification. And these are alarm panels for the buildings. Along this wall, we have all our alarm panels, interior alarms for the building, for fire and the HVA system. And the televisions, they monitor weather and news, and the outside cameras for the building.
I'd mentioned about the nice architectural design here, just soothing, the wood and the different materials.
Part of the design was for the well-being of the employees, and architecturally, the way the building is set up, it has a lot of natural lighting and some artificial lighting. They can control all the upper windows with automatic blinds. They put the wood in here to give it a soft appearance, to soften the building down from the aesthetic value of it. And it's got a constant flow of air through here, so that there's fresh air always coming through. And for new employees, we have a classroom set up here for them for training them. We recently ran a test, and we were able to, out of all the applicants, we were able to hire 3 people with 4 shortages in dispatch. It's really becoming more and more difficult to find qualified people to work in a multi-jurisdiction operation like this. And for the benefit of our employees, we've established a break room here. We also have what we call a quiet room, and this quiet room would be for a telecommunicator who handles a traumatic call and needs to step away from their position. And they have a chair here, and it's a quiet area with a nice plant and shades. And it can also substitute for a mother's room also in the event that we have young children or babies born to our employees. And these are all their personal lockers. Each one has an assigned locker for their personal effects. And this is the area that they get to have their lunches in. They can cook their own meals, microwave it. We have a refrigerator for them. There's a television down at the end of the room here that they can use for their break time with some companion chairs. And all the windows you can all have shades on them that can come down for their benefit. We also have stairways here, not just the elevator, but we have stairways also. that the employees are encouraged to use. And when they sit here and they look out, right now, if you take a look out there, you'll see what they get to see. There's a little bit of traffic flow, but you also have the nature appearance across the road
Okay,
there. Okay, and so then this ends for this floor right here. There's snacks provided. For the wall building, we have living moss in here that gets fed every day as an aesthetic value to the building. This is all designed by the architect to meet the requirements of the wall building certification out of New York. Okay, we're going to go back downstairs to the first level and have a discussion.
Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the little walking tour of Southwest Central Dispatch. As Bill had indicated, it's a 15,000 square foot building, 3 levels. And again, when I talked about design, as you went through this building, I'm sure you could tell the incredible design the architects, White & Company, had given us for this, but most importantly is a function. And certainly in that basement area, that's the bread and butter of this operation, the miles and miles of different cable and wire and plumbing and everything else that went with it. For those who may not know, Southwest Central Dispatch was started about 37 years ago. We were originally located in Palos Heights. Palos Heights at the time actually built a building for Southwest. Bill, how many square foot was that building?
Well, that's 1,600 square feet per level, and it was 2 levels.
So not much, 3,000, maybe 3,500.
Yeah.
But when we started Southwest Central, we knew right off the bat from the initial membership that we had that it was going to be undersized. In fact, we were crowded from day one. So during that period of time of almost 37 years, through the work of our executive director, we socked away money each year. We put away money for knowing that we would have to build a building. And we came down to finally, Bob, right, you came on in 21 years ago
21 years ago,
as
right.
a board member.
We knew then we had made assessments for capital planning and basically budgeted money to build this building. Initially, we thought about maybe putting an addition on the existing building and put it on our campus in Palos Heights. It just, when we realized the magnitude of what we were going to have to do, it just wasn't going to fit there. So then we started looking for other spots, and this spot became available conveniently right next to North Palos Fire Department. And
Yeah, it was. In fact, Bob's, actually served as chair of the building committee, and twice we actually had architectural drawings done to retrofit Southwest. But then we looked at the cost of that retrofit, and it just didn't make sense. And then obviously a new addition. So obviously this came to fruition about 3.5 years ago, and it was, Bob, as you recall, back in with COVID, because it happened during COVID. It was kind of an interesting time. We decided to go out to bid in about, we were ready to go out to bid in March of 2020. And I think we made a decision, which we thought was a great decision. We decided to go ahead with that bid. Everything was shut down because of COVID, but then we felt that maybe, contractors, subcontractors.
people wanted to work, and so we took advantage of that when we built this building.
And because of that, we saved, we were what, 1.2,
I think, something like that,
$1 million under budget
right,
to come in.
Which is not, you don't hear about it, especially in this environment right now with, I guess we got it done before all the price increases started to kick in. So we know we did have some shortages as far as equipment. It may have taken us a little longer than we would have liked to have happened. But in fact, the dollars came in better, so that that speaks for itself.
Yeah, the materials, as you mentioned, towards the end, strung it out a little bit, but we were able to complete it in October. In fact, Southwest moved from Palos Heights to this location, and Bob, you now have a building over there.
Right. If you're familiar with our campus, it's between the City Hall and the police department, and it's a small, as Bill said, 1,600 square foot on each floor. And it was, quite frankly, just a dark, small building with no windows to speak of. And you come here and, if nothing else, it gives the employees a sense of having some openness and, wanting to come to work on a given day. And also, as we go forward, trying to sell this service, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, this gives us a selling point to bring other agencies in to use our services. And, so I think it's, in the long run, it's going to pay out for us immensely.
Sure, and Bill, from when we use the term state-of-the-art, I mean, certainly your impressions and again, I'll mention that Bill Shanley did a lot of work in helping in the design of this building because he knew what he had and what he needed going forward. Bill, just your impressions of what this building is comprised of.
Well, this building is built from the ground up to modern day standards and looking to the future for additional growth or patterns or technology. One of the problems that any comm center has is lightning protection, and there was a lot of time and effort spent to make sure that this building is not impervious, but certainly resistant to lightning. Each floor and level is given a constant, there's wire throughout the building so any room can be used for the same purposes. Or we're sitting in the conference room and there's trap doors on the floor there, and if we had to set up an emergency, say a regional disaster room, we could set it up here and drop the cabling right through the floor into our server room, which is downstairs. And over the years, we learned the first thing I found out when I became the director back in '96 is we took a lightning strike and we were down for 12 hours. And so that was an important lesson right there. But right now we're on a building that we look to the future. This building will last the consolidation of dispatching for many years to come. It has room for it. It has the ability to take on many more departments.
And our membership today, we have our members and the numbers.
We have 6 police departments and 5 fire agencies, 3 fire districts, 2 city police departments. And we cover probably about 117,000 people is what's in our service area, plus you have the daily transit back and forth. And right now we're staffing 4, we just hired 3 more people. We can move on in bigger and better numbers. It all depends upon if anybody's willing to come here.
Yeah, one of the things about when was mandated, about 4 or 5 years now, where the state now mandated that dispatch centers have to have a minimum of 25,000 population. So there's a lot of smaller dispatching agencies out there, and certainly we're hoping with this facility, again, being you can't get any more state-of-the-art than what we are, to encourage them to possibly join us. And one of the great things that happened over that period, right when we were about ready to begin construction or in the initial stages, is that I was able to get a hold of our state representatives, state senators, and State Senator Bill Cunningham, State Representative Kelly Burke, and State Representative Fran Hurley were able to get us a grant for $2 million to help underwrite the cost of this building. Bob, the cost?
Cost $6.8 million. And we had budgeted a lot more than that when we went to bid. We thought it was going to cost us over $7 or close to $8 million when we started.
And certainly that $2 million. And ladies and gentlemen, we purchased or built this building with cash. We saved enough money over those 35 years to be able to pay for this building in cash.
Right.
So the $2 million is going to certainly help us further. And financially, with our agency being in great financial shape.
And no impact to the taxpayers either, so I think that's important. There's no bond issue out there to pay, we have to amortize it, it's paid for, and it's ours. I think maybe just to transgress a little bit, we talked about the number of agencies. Why don't you delineate who the agencies, besides Palos Hills and Palos Heights, who else is involved there?
Well, there's Chicago Ridge Police and Fire, there's Crestwood Police and Fire, there's Palos Heights Police, Palos Hills Police, Lamont Police, Worth Police, and then we have the fire districts, Palos Heights Fire, we have North Palos Fire, and we have Roberts Park Fire. Roberts Park Fire just came on recently to receive our services. So we cover a larger area. We put a few more square miles on with the Roberts Park District, and we're still nowhere even beginning to scratch the surface as far as capacity goes.
Well,
Yeah, I think when you saw upstairs,
yeah, and I think it's important for people to know when they call for a 911 call or something that there's not someone in each individual fire department or police department manning those phones. I mean, so we were able to instead of having to have one individual in each of those 11 different agencies do it, it's all done here, so we save some money that way.
Which was the reason why we formed
Exactly,
Southwest Central
exactly.
37 years ago.
Exactly.
We took all the dispatchers out of each of the towns and fire districts and put them under one roof. Palos Hills easily has saved close to $250,000 a year because, 10 can actually do it better than one.
Right.
Individually.
And the people become more trained, instead of doing it on the fly, which may be the case in an individual agency, the people, here we have people who go through intensive training and are the, first-rate dispatchers, so they know how to handle those things.
Yeah, speaking of which, Bill, explain, we're one of the few dispatching centers in the nation that are CLIA certified. Explain CLIA.
Well, CLIA is the Commission for Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies, and they're an international organization that certifies standards of operation to meet the highest in the level and professionalism of the service we provide. We've been with CLIA since 1995. One of the first things that happened when I became the director here is we moved into CLIA certification process. They moved from certification was 99, we had to meet 90-plus standards. And then they opened up, and that's all they offered for comm centers. So then they decided to go ahead and establish standards. So now we have 219 professional standards that we must meet to remain CLIA accredited. And we were into our 6th accreditation, which is about 18 years worth of accreditation. And what they do is they establish standards. It's not, they don't tell us what to do, but they tell us what has to be done. And we have to meet their standards for this international recognition.
And I've sat through and been part of those CLIA review committees. It is not easy, and they go through every fine tooth and comb of operations, from administration to calls to procedures that the agency our agency would have to meet. And we have, again, been very proud to be CLIA certified for all those years.
We have our own training program here. It's APCO Project 33 certified, which is a national certification for a training program. You met with Sarah. I saw Sarah earlier during the tour, and she's a certified trainer here, as well as the assistant director stands in also. They're EMD certified trainers. And our training program can last up to 16 weeks in the classroom, depending upon the size of the class, depending upon how much time they need to absorb the information we give them. We had a professional company come in years ago and design a training program specific for Southwest in our application of policies, procedures, rather than just go in a generic. Not that generic is bad, but we found that the more in-house or in-depth training for in-house operations they have, the better off they are.
Yeah, and I think that's just to point out, it's not just a building, it's not just its function, but it's the people that operate it. And we couldn't be more prouder of the dispatchers over the years that have served Southwest Central, the towns that we provide that service to, the 9/11 emergency services, along with we certainly take local calls through our center. Some of the cities have a non-emergency number that they can call Southwest Central. They're the agency that it certainly for Palos Hills touches the tornadoes, the warnings that go off in the area. So there's so much involved in this agency that we do in service the citizens of our communities, and we're very proud of the professionalism of Southwest. There's so much to really talk about, and I know we promised to keep this program as succinct as we could and get to the basics or generics of Southwest Central. But I think all the citizens, Bob, you know that
Right.
of our communities should be proud to know where that 9/11 setup is.
Just a question, how many calls do we take during a year?
This past year we did 157,000 calls.
Yeah, so that just gives you a number as far as what kind of calls we handle
Again,
here.
both police and fire.
Police and
Police
fire,
and
correct.
fire, yes.
So as we
Administrative.
kind of conclude this, Bob, some further thoughts on how when we started and where we're at?
We started with one little building, and I think we've built what is, probably going to be one of the forerunners as far as, what the agencies, what the industry is going to be. And I only look forward to, as we talked earlier about some of the smaller towns where under 25,000 who are not going to be able to have their own facility. We will market it to them and try to bring more people and into our facility and do a better job for them too.
You know, and just as another point, you know, we partner with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children some time ago, meeting their standards of training and application of how we process calls and make sure that the children who are in need get the appropriate attention by the law enforcement and fire agencies that we dispatch for.
Yeah, again, one of the other last unique things about Southwest Central, when we set this organization up, every member has a vote. We have a board of directors.
Right.
And each member, unlike a lot of dispatching centers, each one of those towns has a vote on the board of directors. And below that, we call it the executive committee. Every chief, whether it's police or fire, serve on the executive committee. They meet once a month because they work with the executive director, obviously on a day-to-day basis, as to the performance of Southwest Central. So again, a thing that we'd like to offer other towns, if they care to join us, is that you have a right, you have a one man, one vote on this,
Right.
And it's worked out great. We've had a great cooperative spirit among our members, and we will continue in that vein going
Yeah,
forward.
I think you can't help but emphasize the quality and the efficiency of having a center such as this. I
Right.
think it's beyond.
So I guess I'd like to conclude this. Channel 4 will wring our necks if we go beyond 45 minutes, I think. But we hope that our audience got a real quick tour of the center, a little conversation about it. Bill, you have another last comment?
Just the last comment, you know, as we look to the future, you know, we will be going into the statewide next generation 911 system that will allow us to receive video, texting, and operate off of a statewide geospatial system that it'll go from a legacy system of going into a computer to find the location to a XYZ coordinates to locate where the caller is coming in from, so that it will be able to map out the exact location rather than, which will come in handy should there be an emergency and the person can't speak to us. All they have to do is dial 911 and we'll be able to zone in on it.
And I think that's very important, because if individual agencies had to do it themselves, they probably couldn't afford the equipment to do it.
Well, the way the state set it up is all the funding for this will come from the state. They control the 911 surcharge funds, which they divvy up among the agencies on what it takes to do the equipment costs on this. It's going to be a phenomenal system. There's no way to put any other way. You know, people won't have to, eventually you won't have to ask them, because we're still on the legacy system, but eventually they won't have to ask where they're at, because they'll plot to map unless there's a system failure.
I will give you the last word, and so certainly from a technical person to explain not only what the tour is all about, but certainly going forward about what this agency can offer. Bill, I want to thank you for your 30 years of service as the Executive Director of Southwest Pop. Mayor Strauss, thank you for joining us. You've been an important member on that board too, to direct us through this whole building process. Again, I'm Mayor Jerry Bennett, City of Palos Hills. We want to thank Channel 4 for allowing us this time to explain all about Southwest Central 911. We hope you enjoyed the information provided to you, and we thank you for tuning in.